raising, get your thoughts on, because it's no doubt going to be a question for your clients, is APR and BPR, and obviously it might be worth giving a basic description for our viewers as to what they are and what's changing.
Obviously talking about APR and BPR, so agricultural property relief and business property relief. Obviously the government's looking at reforming the inheritance tax relief from the 6th of April 2026, in which there were originally nil rate bands and the exemptions for that. Now they're capping it at £1 million, or the first £1 million of that property. So if you had a property on agricultural land, you get £1 million worth of that free, and then after that you're looking at 20% IHT, aren't you? So it's huge. It's going to affect certainly a lot of farm landowners and farmers. It's massive, because farmers, they are asset rich, but 95% of them are cash poor. They are, all of their assets, or most of their assets, are sat in their land, and therefore this sort of measure is effectively going to force them to have to look at selling their farmlands and sell up the land. And again, when you're looking at selling off agricultural land, yes, it's agricultural land, but 9 times out of 10, it's worth more value as development property land and stuff like that. So we could be facing the risk of really sort of losing our farming agricultural side of the UK, which again is a huge sector, certainly in Lincolnshire as well.
So I think it's very relevant to where we are, and I think as well I mean, hopefully there's this time for these rules is 2026, I think, for these rules to come into play. So there is time for consultation to take place and for feedback to be given. I think from the numbers that I've seen, the risk is when you compare business property relief to agricultural property relief, so specifically looking at farming, there's a lot more claims at lower values of farming estates than there is when you look at business estates. So I think, I haven't got the numbers to hand, but percentage-wise, they're trying to target bigger companies with business property relief, whereas with agricultural property relief, it's going to capture small farms. Again, you can have a reasonably small Lincolnshire farm of 200 acres that's worth £2 million, and they're not huge, they're not good investments, they're not, I think plenty of us have watched Clarkson's Farm and things like that, and you see the profits that these places actually make. It's a bit of a labour of love. Yes, there's value in the land, but nobody ever particularly realises that value. So if it's people aren't, I think the issue is farmers aren't benefiting generationally. If a farmer dies and leaves the land to their beneficiaries who continue to farm that land, then those people aren't suddenly getting £2 million in the bank overnight to go and spend. They're getting £2 million worth of land that they've either got to sell or farm. And if you want to keep a farm going, you've got to farm the land, and the yields and income from farming isn't good. I've got to say, it's one area of the budget that I just don't understand. And actually coming back to this comparison of sort of niche focused taxes versus, would it not have been fairer to raise income tax by 0.5% for everybody instead of clobbering British farming and as one very, very small sector of society. So and equally on the business asset side, in theory, you take a business that somebody's taken a modest income from the whole life, they've built up the jam tomorrow idea of selling the business, and or a family. I suppose the family business is the biggest risk. You're trying to pass a £2 million business down the generations. You die with, and again, this is the difficult. We talk about anything where it's valued more as a goodwill business, accountancy, things like that, where you've not got assets, you've not got premises. What you have is a business. Have a recurring fee book, something like that. But if you die, leave the shares of that business to your one of your sons, how do they realise the value of that business without selling it to pay the tax man? So in that situation, if you've got a £2 million business value, a £2 million accountancy practice, you're going to be left with a bill of £200,000, which somebody, in that situation, your son's going to have to find £200,000 to pay the bill if he wants to keep that business together and keep running it. And equally, it's not easy to, that it also revolves around liquidity, because if someone dies, it's not necessarily that quick to sell a business. So practically, to me, it's very messy. It targets, it's not, it sort of goes against entrepreneurs, it goes against British farming, and obviously I know farmers are up in arms at the minute because they got the promise that British farming was going to be backed in this budget, and I don't think they feel like that's been delivered on. Certainly from the couple of quick interactions I've had with agricultural clients, they are not happy. But again, there's a bit of time until this comes in. Let's sort of see where they go. Practically speaking, I've not heard anyone bringing any particular solutions to the table at the moment, but no doubt, taking advice is going to be more important than ever, especially when you're looking at either inheritance tax planning or sale of businesses. So.